Tonight's show is presented by Ascend Federal Credit Union, the exclusive credit union of Blue River Athletics. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. And Ascension St. Thomas, the official hospital partner for MTSU Athletics. Now, with Coach Derek Mason, here's the voice of the Blue Raiders, Gibraltar.
Boulevard tonight here just off campus in Murfreesboro. One of our favorite sports bars and grills here in Murfreesboro. Be sure and stop by whenever you can. Great lunch specials every day. And here we're kind of figuring out what day we are. We're back here on a Monday,
right.
But it's actually a Thursday because you're going to play on a Wednesday, which is actually a Saturday. Did I get all that right?
You got it all right. You got it all right. I appreciate that too.
Well, we've had a little bit of practice with this over the last couple of years, but this week Jacksonville State, big week. Interesting. You come off a 5-day turnaround, and now you have an 8-day turnaround. But it's all about getting the work in.
That's right. I mean, everything's been about getting the work in. It's been important for us to look at our football team. See how much rest they needed. Obviously, coming out of any physical ball game, you want to make sure, man, that those guys have enough rest and recovery to be able to take you into the next work week. But the work week's been a solid one. The work is free. We're just trying to get better with every opportunity that we take to hit the field. And right now, we're on our way tomorrow.
Yeah.
Headed down to Birmingham and figuring on Wednesday to line up versus Jack State, which should be a great ball game.
Yeah, Jacksonville State off to a really good start. They've won 3 in a row and playing pretty well. We'll talk about them in more in depth in the second half hour. We have a couple of guests tonight. Defensive coordinator Brian Stewart is going to be here with us, and he'll be on with us. Also, the hometown hero, D'Ari McDonald, will be on here with us in just a bit. Had a big interception on Tuesday night in the 14-5 win over Kennesaw State. Coach, this year there have been 4 games in college football across the country that have had scores that have never happened before. Never happened before, ever. And I know 14-5 is not one of those, but it's an unusual score.
It's an unusual score, right?
Five is weird.
5 is hard to do. I mean, that's a number that I don't think anybody in Vegas is trying to get to, right? I mean, it just doesn't come out, right? So just looking at, that 14-5 game, really what it looks like for us is giving up a safety, holding them to a field goal. And when you look, there were so many opportunities in that game for turnovers on our side. I thought, looking at it, and Jordan Thompson had an opportunity for a couple of interceptions, right?
Wide open.
I mean, wide open. And so I think what this group is starting to see is if you just do your job, sometimes the ball hits you in the face. Literally will hit you in the face. So we just got to just keep chopping wood and working on the things that solid teams do to find success in ball games, and one of them is truly creating turnovers.
Yeah, and you were able to do that. You won the turnover battle on Tuesday night, which, I mean, you take steps where you can, and that was a big step.
It was a huge step. I mean, you look at it, turnovers are hard to come by, but you have to manufacture turnovers, and you have to turn turnovers into points. Unfortunately for us, we got a couple. We didn't cash in on a couple, but another area of improvement was in the red zone. You look at it, we needed to get a red zone stop. Little did we know that it would be the first series of the game with them coming down and having an opportunity to be in the red zone. It looked like they were going to score. Defense stands up, and I think that set the tone for the night.
Well, a safety is a weird thing. It has a weird effect on momentum sometimes.
It does.
And it was funny when you came on with us after the game. I made mention, hey, they drove it right down, and you made the great stop, but they got a safety, and you guys, wait a minute, that was 2, could have been 7.
That's right.
And when you go back and look at it now, that 5-point difference made a huge difference.
It made a huge difference. I think not only on the scoreboard or in the final score of the game, but I think when you look at momentum, the biggest thing that we haven't been able to do this season is capture momentum. But I think in that moment, momentum was sort of bottled up a little bit and then unleashed for the rest of the game, because I think it set the tone for what we needed to do. We say it all the time, but I think people just take it as a football metaphor, defend a blade of grass, right? Mm-hmm. But when you do that, when you can literally do that, I mean, it's loose change that starts to multiply. It makes it, a force multiplier. And I think that first stop gave us a lot of momentum that really carried through, because I think you just saw the defense continue to get better and better as the game went on.
Well, you can check off a lot of things that the defense did on Tuesday night that they haven't done. Number one, held Kennesaw without a touchdown, got the goal line stand.
Right.
Just on and on, those kind of things happen. Got 2 interceptions. Mm-hmm. So, again, those things started to roll, and you're right. The momentum helped carry you guys through, because you're going to have ups and downs during a game.
You're always fighting for momentum in ball games. How many games have you watched? Even last weekend as you were watching games, they went back and forth, and there's this ebb and flow of, a turnover, and then a big play, and then a scoring opportunity, and then a big return. These things are constantly happening, and you're always battling for it. In that game, it felt like not only were we battling for momentum, but we were battling for field position. And then, let's talk about it. A great punt return by Amari. Okay, man, blows that thing wide open. So you talk about the turnovers, but then you get into the special teams opportunity to not only change the field position, but to put points on the board. And when you add turnovers, red zone stop, okay, an opportunity to score on special teams, it becomes one of those equations where winning starts to become close, okay, man, and it puts you closer to the W side than it does anything else.
Doesn't guarantee it. But when you do those 3 things, it certainly gives you a great opportunity. Okay, one of the other major storylines in the game that we did not know about until later. I kind of had an inkling something was going on when my phone started beeping about 5 o'clock, and people said, Nick Fatiato is not in Raider Walk tonight. Is he okay?
Right.
And turns out, you brought it up first thing on the postgame show, that he had been just sick all day.
Yeah. Again, Nick wasn't forced to play. Actually, we were headed in a different direction. I mean,
y'all were prepared to start roaming.
Yeah. We were going to start roaming, and that's the way it was headed. But Nick told me before he left, he said, no matter what, I'm going to play. I was like, yeah, right, go home and get some rest. and so he goes home, and he texted me later that afternoon, and I didn't even really look at it. I just thought, okay, he's still tired, no big deal. Didn't even bother to look down. And really, when I get over to the locker room, I see him, and he says, Coach, I'm going to play. I was like, you sure? And I knew he was going to be exhausted, right? Because here's the thing. He looked like death warmed over, right? I mean, even with everything that he had taken and where he was at, he still looked a little fatigued. But he said he wanted to play, and you know what? Who was I to tell him that he wasn't going to play? So he stepped in, he played. Look, I don't know if it was pretty, ugly. And look, I just know that he was going to compete. I felt like he gave us, a good chance. I mean, he did some good things. There's some things he wanted back. But in the end, we wound up getting the victory, and I'll take Nick Vadiato every chance I get as long as we can keep them upright.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about that game, and we'll again have two great guests tonight. I want to remind you, tonight's show is brought to you in part by Raiders Rising, the official NIL collective for Blue Raider Athletics. Raiders Rising provides student athletes from all 17 varsity teams at MTSU opportunities to earn income based on their name, image, and likeness. Follow at Raiders Rising on X and RaidersRising.com for more information on upcoming events, how to donate, and become a member, as well as much more. More Derek Mason Live after this time out from Van Wagner. This is the Blue Raider Network.
When it comes to money, I'm a saver.
Me too. Though I can also be a bit of a spender.
Old Friend has got you both covered. With our interest-earning checking, you can earn interest so I can save money for my beach trip? Sure. And with our rewards checking, you can
Get cash back for my purchases? Tap reward?
Yep. So no matter how you handle your money, Ascend Federal Credit Union has the right checking account for you. Interest-earning checking means 3.56% annual percentage yield up to $15,000. Some restrictions apply.
Not feeling well and need to see a doctor? Find the care you need now at Ascension St. Thomas. We deal with 24/7 ER care, same-day care, and walk-in urgent care for broken bones, sprains, allergies, sore throats, and more. Visit ascension.org/St. Thomas Care to get the right care at the right place at the right time. Serving Middle Tennessee State University, Murfreesboro, and surrounding communities.
How do you create a tradition of leadership? You power it with impressive towing and hauling, sharpen it with smart features like a mobile generator, and dominate the game 47 years straight. That's Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, a legacy of excellence. Only at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Available features. See owner's manual for important operating instructions based on 1977 to 2023 total service.
Roscoe Brown is proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU Athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company for over 80 years. Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders. RoscoeBrown.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in supporting and treating Middle Tennessee State University athletes, providing expert treatment of injuries to bones, joints, or muscles. TOA's team of orthopedic specialists can get you back in the game. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Injured? Visit one of our many ortho-urgent cares, or to make an appointment, call 1-855-LEAD-TOA or visit www.toa.com. TOA, the official team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics.
MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 130,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing. Update your information and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Coming up in 3, 2.
Welcome back into the Boulevard tonight. Derek Mason live. Middle Tennessee on the road this week at Jacksonville State as they take on the Gamecocks. 6:30 on ESPN2, and that is on Wednesday night, and we'll wrap up the midweek portion of the schedule. Blue Raiders coming off a 14-5 win over Kennesaw State, and Coach kind of gave us the inside dope on Nick Vattiato's illness on Tuesday. And, you know, the one thing from a stat perspective, I mean, he was still pretty efficient. But when the final stats came out, one of the things I look at with him is you know, did he have another 200-yard game or whatever? He had 199, missed a 200-yard game, which would have been his 20th 200-yard game in 25 games as a starting quarterback. The guys around him, they have really settled in. You know, Amari had, 5 catches in his entire career, and now is one of the top 10, 15 receivers in all of college football. Holden Willis is a top 5 tight end in the country, so he's got great weapons around him.
Yeah, he's going to continue to have great weapons around him, and right now we've got young guys in the queue that we think are going to be extremely talented. So when I look at like the depth of the receiving core and what we can do, it's going to continue to grow. We need more of those guys to continue to show themselves, because I think the more weapons, we have that are on the field, the harder it is for teams to guard one particular guy. We've seen Amari be able to split defenses. We've seen Holden become a one-on-one problem, right? So you have to find those guys in critical situations. But we need Carter, Amari and Carter. We need Hayes. We need Miles Butler. We need these guys, along with Josh Evans, and Cam Lacey, We need these guys to really come alive. And I tell you what, the running back room has been solid. I know the rushing numbers haven't been what we'd like for them to be, but what I'll tell you is the room is talented. Mm-hmm. So hopefully this week we'll get a chance to unleash some different guys, and we'll see how that helps us.
Are teams trying to scheme to take away Willis and Kelly?
Yeah, I mean they are. That's why these other guys have to show up, right?
Right.
These guys are getting the one-on-one matchups now. I look at Amari, and Amari's finding, double coverage, Holden anytime, he's singled. Like a lot of times, they're trying to play over and under, so that's why you see him in the slot quite a bit, so he can find the one-on-one matchups. But right now, we need those other guys to step up so that we can take some of the coverage pressure off of Holden and Amari, because when we do, we've seen what they can do.
Yeah, speaking of pressure, are you getting to a point where, and every matchup is different with whoever the opponent has up front. I mean, Jacksonville's going to be different from Kennesaw, but there have been times when, Nick has had to kind of run for his life a little bit.
Yeah.
But when he gets himself in the pocket, can get his feet squared up, he's, chances are he's going to make a play.
Yeah. Here's what we know. When he stands upright and he's got time, he is surgical. But that's been the Achilles heel of this 2024 team. I was sitting there talking with Mark Owens today, and us, Florida State, and UTSA, are all teams that have had a different starting offensive lineup of offensive linemen every game this season. That's not the number that you want to be
So
in.
game 8 coming up, you'll have your 8th different combination.
Correct. And
wow.
So that it doesn't set itself up like a lot of times for continuity and consistency, right? So we're searching and finding that we have to do a better job or continue to find the group that gives us the most solid protection. And once we hit that, I think that's when this thing will go.
Well, and you told me, you have all these good little phrases that I like to try to back away and remember. One of them was, I want to get to the point where we have a different offensive line because we want to instead of because we have to.
Correct.
Did I get it right?
You're 100% correct. And again, a lot of it comes through development, like recruiting, all of that. And that's no disrespect to where we are now. It's just that the injuries have piled up. There's never any excuses. It's always next man up. But when you're having to grow young guys and play against really good competition, in competitive environments, the margin for error is slim. And every week we seem to be playing, every team's got one or two pass rushers that know how to rush the passer. So the idea of just simplifying the protections and making it, easy enough for the quarterback to get the ball out has to be at a premium.
What were the best one or two things that came out of the Kennesaw State victory?
As I looked at it, I thought defensive growth and really starting to get the special teams going. We've got guys in special teams that can go, and we need to start flipping field position. I think as you flip field position and you can give your offense a shorter field, it helps. So if you can get your defense going and get some stops, okay, that means that you're going to be playing on a shorter offensive field. If you can do some things in the return game, it's a shorter field. So between the stops, the turnovers, and creating some shorter fields and/or points, those two things between defense and special teams, I thought were steps in the right direction.
Good deal. Good deal. Raiders win it by a score of 14-5 over Kennesaw. Tonight's program brought to you in part by the Lee Company. Blue Raider fans can get ahead of the game with the best home services team in town for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, and home improvement needs. Lee Company is the team to call, 615-867-1000 or on leecompany.com. Coming up next, Coach Mason's college teammate, Brian Stewart, will be with us when we return. More on Derek Mason Live from the Blue Raider Network and Van Wagner.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. Plan ahead and plan for success. Put Lee Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lee Company at 615-867-1000. Visit them at leecompany.com or call 615-867-1000. Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. You've got beer and football, nothing's hard until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Pay the order of hope, promise, tomorrow. For years, the Tennessee Lottery has written some pretty big checks, but it turns out that our biggest winner continues to be education. In fact, we've raised more than $7.5 billion and provided more than 2 million scholarships and grants for Tennessee students. Learn more about how lottery dollars are making a difference at tmlottery.com. It's game-changing, life-changing fun.
When it comes to money, I'm a saver.
Me too. Though I can also be a bit of a spender.
Old friend has got you both covered. With our interest-earning checking, you can earn interest so I can save money for my beach trip? Sure. And with our rewards checking, you can
Get cash back for my purchases? Tap reward?
Yep. So no matter how you handle your money, Ascend Federal Credit Union has the right checking account for you. Interest-earning checking means 3.56% annual percentage yield up to $15,000. Some restrictions apply. Not feeling well and need to see a doctor? Find the care you need now at St. Thomas. We're here with 24/7 ER care, same-day care, and walk-in urgent care for broken bones, sprains, allergies, sore throats, and more. Visit ascension.org/St. Thomas Care to get the right care at the right place at the right time. Serving Middle Tennessee State University, Murfreesboro, and surrounding communities.
Coming up in 3, 2.
Welcome back into the Boulevard. It's Monday night, and the Blue Raiders getting ready to travel down to Jacksonville, Alabama. And one of our two special guests here, Coach Mason better come back to defend himself right here, because we've got his college teammate from Northern Arizona and current Blue Raider defensive coordinator, Brian Stewart. Stu, welcome in.
Thank you, Chip.
All right.
Here. Good to be here.
Glad to have you. I tell you, I am lucky. I get to come in on Thursday mornings most of the time, or Thursday afternoons, have a conversation with you, have a conversation with Bodie, have a conversation with Derek. When I leave, I feel smarter every day, and every time, because you guys are very. Before I hit the record button, you all are very open with me, and I really appreciate that.
No, we appreciate you. Yeah, I think this much, Chip. I mean, you're easy to talk to. I think you understand you've been around the game so long, I think it's easy for us to have conversations about ball perspective. You see the game the way we see it. You see it in a different perspective, and sometimes, man, we're just asking what you see in order to give us a different perspective. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
And I told Stu he has my view of the game now. He was up in the booth last week. Now, Brian Stewart, if you all haven't followed, first job 1992-93 at Cal Poly. Since then, everywhere from San Jose State to Missouri to Syracuse to the Houston Texans on the original staff there, the Chargers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, University of Houston, Maryland, Nebraska, Rice, the Lions, Baylor, Maryland, and the Houston Roughnecks, and you found your way here to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and we're really glad.
Thank you. It's been that's a heck of a journey. But I think I've been blessed everywhere. I've learned something and got better. So with that being said, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm with a close teammate, close friend. We've watched each other's career throughout the years, probably since 92, 93, probably around there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And then just been able to talk football, talk about the base principles, what we believe in, as far as core men as well as football coaches, and it just we finally had an opportunity to get together.
Now, you guys not only were teammates, you both played defensive back.
Correct.
And did you ever think that one day we're going to find ourselves on the same staff? Was that the hope? Was it?
Once we started coaching, yes, that was the hope.
Yeah.
But when you're a player, you just try to survive through practice, right?
Right. And I tell you what, we were surrounded by really good coaches.
Correct.
You know, I mean, that's one thing that me and Stu saw every day. When you get a chance to see an Andy Reid, when you get a chance to see Billy Callahan, you know, when you get a chance to see Marty Morning, we were around good coaches, and we were just taking the coaching. But you look and our careers, I mean, Brad Childress, our careers have been affected and probably came in line because of those college relationships and what that meant for us. I mean, he's been fortunate enough to be with Wade Phillips for a long time. Him and Wade have a tremendous relationship, but you know, going to Philadelphia and spending time again and having a chance to connect with Andy Reid again.
Right.
You know, I mean, in his pro career and the guys on that staff, I think for us, we've just been fortunate to be around good coaches. We've tried to learn as much as we could. You know, he was with Vic Fangio in Houston. I was with Vic Fangio, at Stanford. And Vic now is considered, you know, like one of the foremost or best, coordinators or defense coordinators in the game. And so
right.
I think, man, we've had a lot of intersections in our careers that have given us an opportunity to get to the places that we are.
You guys are obviously have a lot of similarities, Stu. What are some of the differences between you and Derek?
I think he's a yeller, forceful guy, but you know what? He has a lot more patience than I do. A lot more patience. Yeah, because he's up front with it. He says how he feels, and then he's very patient and understanding. Where I'm a yeller, but I'm not as patient. So I'm not as patient, and I admire that. I tell him that he has great patience, because sometimes, things happen, and he does a good job of really understanding the situation, and seeing it all the way through, which a lot of people can't do because they're not patient enough to do that. So my hat goes off to him about being patient.
And the second part of the question that got turned in was who's louder, and I think you've already answered that part of it. So, you mentioned Wade Phillips along the way. What other defensive coaches do you feel like rubbed off on you to where you come up with your style, your package of how you like to coach football?
I think first and foremost, it would start with Dom Capers and Vic Fangio. Just basically, map out, write everything down exactly what you like.
Did Dom Capers ever smile?
Oh, He would tell some jokes. You wouldn't catch it, but he would tell some jokes. He's the only one laughing, then you know it was a joke.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I got that.
Right. Yeah, so those guys kind of taught me how to put everything on paper, have a playbook, how to write it through, and then, Wade Phillips, I really consider my mentor. What he really did is, what can the players do? Can they play man? Play man. If they can't, you're going to have to do this. What are you going to do to stay close to the receivers? What are you going to do? So those three people probably were most influential in my career.
What is the pressure cooker like being the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys?
It's believe it or not, it's like be a defense coordinator at Middle Tennessee State. Except I have Buckner rushing the passer, Brandon Buckner, instead of DeMarcus Ware. So, it was a little easier there with the players that we had, but it's still the same. I look at football as football. I have a lot of admiration, love, and respect for the game, so the pressure comes with it, and I understand that no matter what level you're on, because you want to win and you want to be the best. But all joking aside, I think that it's the same pressure, because you want to win, not just for yourself, not just for the team, but for the players.
When you started thinking you might take this job, how quick did you call Stu?
You know what? That had been something that we had talked about. See, like, a lot of people probably don't know because they wouldn't have, but myself, Stu was in season in the XFL at the time, but Stu would be in season, and me and Leslie Frazier. Leslie was in Buffalo, and had stepped away. So Leslie was in Buffalo, and we would get together during his season as I'm getting ready to call games. We would get together almost like every Wednesday or Thursday or something like that and do ball. So we would look at Buffalo stuff. We'd look at some XFL stuff, and we just go through and just talk about our concepts. So I think it came about organically because we were already talking ball, and it just so happens late in the year, I was like, hey, look, I called him one day and I was like, hey, look, this may happen. Don't know how it's going to happen, but if it does happen, I'd like for you to be my defense coordinator. He said, well, okay, man, I got a couple of things, but let me get back to you. And yeah, man, and I think we can work together. And that was really it.
Yeah, that's about it.
This happened, then that happened. It went fast, and sometime in December, we were all sitting at the airport.
That's right.
Getting rental cars, trying to make sure that everybody got in town. So that's sort of how it worked out.
You're back in college. You're back recruiting again. Does that kind of keep the juices flowing?
Absolutely. You got to love the kids, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you love the relationships. You love meeting the family structures. I think that's one of the things that you miss when you're doing NFL is knowing your players and knowing their family structures, because you had an opportunity to walk in those homes, meet their parents, talk to them, see who's the boss, who they listen to, who's the most influential person that they listen to in the household. If it's a mom household, dad, both parents, who has the juice, basically.
Yep. Okay, we got to wind this up. Give us a 60-second scouting report on Jack State.
Jackson State, fast team, tempo, good quarterback that could run. He's built like a running back. He's 6'1", 215, have two very good receivers. They have a running back with the same last name as mine and does a good job getting downfield.
All right. You still have about 30 seconds left, but we'll go with that. Brian, thanks so much for coming on tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Stewart, Blue Raider defensive coordinator. Glad to have him with us. We'll take a timeout, and De'Ari McDonald will join us when we return here on Derek Mason Live on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. Plan ahead,
and plan for success. Put Lead Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lead Company at 615-867-1000. Visit them at leadcompany.com or call 615-867-1000. Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. You've got beer and football, nothing's hard until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024. Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Pay the order of hope. Promise. Tomorrow. For years, the Tennessee Lottery has written some pretty big checks, but it turns out that our biggest winner continues to be education. In fact, we've raised more than $7.5 billion and provided more than 2 million scholarships and grants for Tennessee students. Learn more about how lottery dollars are making a difference at tmlottery.com. It's game-changing, life-changing fun.
When it comes to money, I'm a saver.
Me too. Though I can also be a bit of a spender.
Old friend has got you both covered. With our interest-earning checking, you can earn interest so I can save money for my beach trip? Sure. And with our rewards checking, you can...
Get cash back for my purchases? Tap reward?
Yep. So no matter how you handle your money, Ascend Federal Credit Union has the right checking account for you. Interest-earning checking means 3.56% annual percentage yield up to $15,000. Some restrictions apply. Not feeling well and need to see a doctor? Find Care Union now at Ascension St. Thomas. We're here with 24/7 ER care, same-day care, and walk-in urgent care for broken bones, sprains, allergies, sore throats, and more. Visit ascension.org/St. Thomas Care to get the right care at the right place at the right time. Serving Middle Tennessee State University, Murfreesboro, and surrounding communities.
Coming up in 3.
Welcome back into the Boulevard here in Murfreesboro. I want to remind you tonight's program brought to you by Middle Tennessee State University with nearly 200 majors and concentrations for undergrads and more than 100 graduate programs. Middle Tennessee State University has something for everyone, including more than 50 online degrees. Do you want high quality, affordable education? Well, it's not too late to apply. Learn more at mtsu.edu/how to apply. They even have a program for my next guest. That would be Diari McDonald, right here from Murfreesboro, Oakland High School, wearing that Blue Raider uniform, and man, love seeing the hometown guys put on the silks, my man.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about your. You started at you went to Cincinnati and decided to come back home. Talk about that decision.
I think it was just, I have my mom, my brother's here, so it was just, and I know the community in Murfreesboro is already like amazing. Being able to grow up and play high school ball here, it was just, why not come back, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember right around the 1st of August, it was the first practice you guys had, and Mark Owens brought a couple of guys over to talk to the media. I think Woko came over, maybe you came over, and it's like somebody started asking you about it. It was like, my God, they've asked the Chamber of Commerce to start talking here because you were able to talk about Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Obviously a place you're very, very proud of.
Yes, sir.
Talk about your high school career, because you played in a great program out there with Coach Creasy and got a little hardware.
I played basketball and football all 4 years.
Yeah.
Freshman year. Being able to build a relationship with Coach Creasy, it was just amazing. From the jump, he always told me I was a football player. But I didn't really believe it. Yeah, you know. So I was just like, I don't believe it. He's just talking. And then it came into my sophomore year, and I started to like really take football serious. And he just told me like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And ever since then, it was just, that's what it was. Won a state my junior year with Woody Washington, with a whole bunch of guys that still playing ball. Great guys, too. Then
Jordan James on that team?
No, Jordan James was on after I graduated. He came there, yes, sir. And just being around a whole bunch of great guys and great community and do great things with.
Yep, and you came back here, and were you welcomed? Did you immediately connect back with your pals from here in town?
Oh, of course. It was just like, we happy to have you back. Wasn't too much to miss out on. Just to being around the guys all over again. Coach Creasy just telling me happy to have me back. The facilities is mine whenever I need it. Just him being so, just an honor just being back.
Yep. One of the big things in this town that has meant a lot to you, where you spent a lot of your time growing up, was at the Boys and Girls Club. Talk a little bit about your experience out there and why it's so special to you.
I believe I was in elementary school. I would go there, and I started playing flag football. My mama never liked for me to play football, tackle football at all. Never. I didn't play tackle football until I got to high school. So I grew up playing flag football, and I remember just after school going there, and it was just that's where I got to even see some of the older guys and being like, okay, I want to be like them when I get older, and being able to learn so much from seeing some guys come in there to do the same thing that I was doing this past summer. And it was just a great opportunity to go back and give to the kids that always wanted something from somebody,
And the same thing that guys gave you
exactly. Yes, sir.
10, 15 years ago.
Yes, sir.
And Blue Raider student athletes are out there all the time. It doesn't matter what sport. They're out there doing things. I know they were at campus school. The basketball teams were at campus school the other day. You guys are, I know you all worked the steak and burger dinner and parked cars, did a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
What Blue Raider player or players do you remember coming to the Boys and Girls Club from when you were a kid? Who made an impression on you?
It was, if I was to really think, I'm trying to really think. It was, I'm trying to remember. I don't think I probably
not Octavius or somebody like that, was
Octavius
it?
was, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. Octavius, I remember Octavius coming, because that was when he first got there, I believe. And so he came. That's probably all I remember. That was so long ago.
You just remember guys in blue jerseys.
Just blue jerseys, right down the street, the college,
Well, folks who see you see that blue jersey wearing number 2 over there now, do you feel a responsibility being from here, homegrown, borough-built, middle-made,
sure,
to go and do those type of things as much as you possibly can?
Of course. It's in us. It's really in me, you know what I'm saying? Just to be as appreciative and be able to give back to those. I've always wanted to be like that, though. Growing up, just always wanted to be able to give back and always be. It's an honor just to be able to be in positions like that.
Yeah,
so, of course.
And I know you had to be extremely happy on Tuesday night to be able to be healthy enough, get out there and play, because in your career, since coming back to MTSU, I mean, you've kind of fought some of that, and you've had to find a way to continue to stay the course. Who's been your guiding light in that?
Really, it's definitely my mother, my brothers, my girlfriend even. It's just, they give so much to me, put me in great opportunities just to be successful, and especially my mom. My mom's always the go-to. She's always the uplifter. She's always the biggest support system. So it's just, sometimes I may not want to hear it, but it'd be like it's always encouraging words. It's always uplifting words. It's always something just to get me going, and I appreciate that to everything. Like it's so much that she do. And it's just my brothers too. Just having them look up at me. It's just like I don't have no choice. Like everything got to be perfect. It got to be this way, the only way. So it's just, that's it.
You had a hamstring injury against Tennessee Tech, and that has to be one of the most frustrating injuries there is, because it's not like you can tape it up. You can't do much of anything except wait it out. and let it get better. And how patient were you? And I'm sure Keith Bunch and his guys did all the very best they could to get you back out there as quick as you could.
Not patient at all. Not gonna lie. Not patient at all. After week one, I was ready to go and spin back with the guys. But it took me, because they told me, 28 days of full recovery. And I was like, I can definitely get back in 20, maybe 17. So it was that second week going into that third week, and I was just like, I'm good. Like, so I was outside running. I was out on the field running sprints. And I was just like, yeah, I ain't good. So I really took the complete 28 days, and I appreciate them for making me wait, because it was best. It was best. You know what I'm saying?
Did you feel right Tuesday?
Yeah, I felt perfect. I felt great. I was live energy, and I really appreciate them for knowing, how to handle that situation. Being in rehab, going to rehab 2 to 3 times a day, 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a grind. But I know that with our staff and stuff, that it was gonna happen.
How do you like morning practices?
Morning practice is good. Get it out the way, and it's when it's a lot warmer, it's good.
And you've been fortunate. You've had pretty good weather.
Yeah, for sure. Except for today.
November still comes.
Ain't it? No. So I mean, it's good. Morning practices are amazing.
And every time, whether it's whatever sport, players who've been moved into that where morning practices are, they grow to really like them, right? Because it's like you steal time the rest of the day.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Tell us about your interception on Tuesday night. Take us through that, because it was a pretty magical play you made.
It was just simple cover 2, you know what I'm saying, doing my job, and seeing a quarterback eyeing the sideline like he was trying to get to the sideline. So once I cleared my job, did my responsibility, I had peeked and was like, oh, he's looking, he's throwing the ball over here. So I seen it, but when he threw it, I was like, can I go get that? Like, can I go do that? So when I had seen it, I was like, go ahead. So I went, I grabbed it, and I was like, I remember telling myself, like, don't move your feet, stay still. And I had seen the video, and I had toe tapped, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know I did that.
But and that was a big play in the ball game. It kept momentum, and like Coach Mason said earlier, you're always trying to steal momentum and grab it, and that came at a time in the game in the second half where we really needed it.
Yeah, so it was that one, Marvay big pick. Right before, I remember him getting it. It was like, we gotta get another one. So going to go get another one right after that, it set the tone. Offense doing what they were supposed to, defense doing what they were supposed to as well. I think we complemented each other very, very well, especially to finish that game.
You guys face an offense on Wednesday night that's put some points up the last 3 weeks. Different kind of look, kind of a flex bone or something, where the quarterback is all of a sudden he's a big weapon with his feet. Right. How does that change your role?
It's still the same role. Do our job, do our responsibilities, handle what we're supposed to handle, and with all that being said, we should have a good game.
Do that. Okay?
Of course.
He's De'Ari McDonald, everybody, right here from Murfreesboro with Oakland High School, and he'll be taking the field at Jacksonville State on Wednesday night. We'll take a timeout and more with Coach Derek Mason after this. You're listening to the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.
With smart features like a mobile generator and dominate the game 47 years straight. That's Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks. A legacy of excellence. Only at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Available features. See owner's manual for important operating instructions based on 1977 to 2023 total service.
Roscoe Brown is proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU Athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company for over 80 years. Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders. Roscoe Brown.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in supporting and treating Middle Tennessee State University athletes, providing expert treatment of injuries to bones, joints, or muscles. TOA's team of orthopedic specialists can get you back in the game. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Injured? Visit one of our many ortho urgent cares, or to make an appointment, call 1-855-LEAD-TOA or visit www.toa.com. TOA, the official team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 130,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing. Update your information and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. Plan ahead and plan for success. Put Lead Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lead Company at 615-86...
Alabama on Wednesday night. We'll have the broadcast beginning at 5 p.m., kickoff at 6:30. Also a reminder, women's basketball exhibition on Friday night at Murphy Center as Middle Tennessee will take on UT Southern. And we ask all fans that night, we need to restock the student food pantry on campus. So we ask you to bring some non-perishable items on Friday night.
To really be exposed to how special a young man Diari is. I knew about Diari coming out and when he went to Cincinnati, but as we did some community projects this year, going over to the Boys and Girls Club in Murfreesboro, I actually saw how much time he spent with those young boys and girls. He saw himself in those young people, right? And what was meant to be a half-hour process wound up being like 2.5 hours for him. I think he reconnected with the idea of what the Boys and Girls Club, what he can do, because his ceiling is extremely high.
Yep, and obviously when you talk to him, you find out what a great student athlete he is. We appreciate him being there. Talk to him a little bit about the Jacksonville State offense.
Right.
They got a great quarterback who has really turned it on. They lost their first 3 to Coastal Carolina, then a road game at Louisville, and a double overtime loss at Eastern Michigan.
Decisions with the football is really a point guard, right? And I call that offense the flex option, because I think he has the flexibility to RPO. He has the flexibility to run, okay, and give run read, and he will take shots down the field. The one thing about them is that this
network from Van Wagner.
How do you create a tradition of leadership? You power it with impressive towing and hauling, sharpen it with smart features like a mobile generator, and dominate the game 47 years straight. That's Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, a legacy of excellence. Only at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Available features. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Back or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know and name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
RoscoeBrown.com.
www.toa.com. TOA, the official team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 130,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, easy to be responsible. Be responsible with Bud Light. Your team goes back on the road. It's going to be they have an environment down there, Derek, and they've been good over the last several years. And what is it going to take for your guys to build on what you did on Tuesday night?
Yeah, I went to Jack State last year and actually did a game with them in Western Kentucky.
The action, the juice, whatever. Louisiana Tech had a lot of juice.
Yes.
And I know you expect the same thing going into Jacksonville State.
I do. I mean, it's a hostile environment. Having been there, some of our players haven't been there, but I've been there and I've seen it. And I've told it's about taking the points and making sure that we keep up, okay, and actually apply pressure on Jacksonville State as we go to their house. Because when you go on the road, you got to pack a defense. And so our defense is going to have to, let's go blue.
All right. Derek Mason with us tonight. We'll talk to you on Wednesday from Jacksonville, Alabama. Join us here on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.